Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here with Sergio Solano of Valinity. Now, before we get to Sergio a little bit, I want to explain a few things. I have actually made like something like 15 grand, I think, already with this thing. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Sergio's going to explain it. I've been going back and forth with his team through somebody who's been handling some things for me. We've been going back and forth on this, and I was kind of like, oh, I like it, but is it real? And what is this? And I'm not sure. And then I started reading a lot of the security contracts or the security audits and a lot of the audits for this thing. And I'm like, okay, this actually looks legit, because I've seen similar things. They're not quite like this, I can tell you that, but I've seen things similar to this. And they don't have security audits. They don't have any audits. It's just basically a website thrown up and see what they could do. And then when you hear about Sergio's story, and like how he came up and like what he's doing now and how this all came about, I think you'll find it pretty interesting. Sergio, welcome. I'm actually I'm a little excited about this because we've had talks in private before. And you're like, you could use this, that you can use whatever. There's no secrets here. I'm like, that's fine, but I'd rather just start from the beginning, live with the audience. I told everybody in a recent video that you saw, like, hey, this is Valinity. I'm doing it. It is kind of a long-term paid thing. Like, you gave me, what was it? Do you remember? It was like 24 grand worth of VI tokens.
It was 30 grand in VI. But that 30 grand, you're able to reverse stake, you're able to get more VI. So we'll talk about how that really works. But yeah, I think the partnership we did was pretty good.
So yeah, and I'm like, okay, and we're basically saying, listen, we'll do this, but we want you to watch this grow. Don't like, you do what you want ultimately, but the idea of the campaign is we're going to basically stake you to stake. Yes. In our platform, and then share with your audience, for better or worse, how it turns out, like what happens. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I'm down for that. And then here you are, the founder of this thing. You're not hiding in some bunker with Biden somewhere during the campaigns. You're like, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some videos and answer any questions anybody has. So here we are. I'm actually proud to do this. So
I'm very excited.
I'm up. Like, I'm going to show this. Because I reverse staked, like you had instructed and told me kind of how to do it, how it all works. And I'm sitting at $36,102 right now, plus the Ethereum that I pulled out of the reverse staking, which was like 4.25, 4.25 Ethereum.
Yeah. So like right now, you can see the first staking pool that you did, you got 49,000 V. From that 49,000 V, you were able to pull out 4.8 ETH, so around 14. Right. And then you minted more, or you got more from the ecosystem, or like 5,000, and you were able to get out another 2.7. So your whole portfolio is worth 36K, and you're able to get liquid around 12K in ETH.
So let's start from the beginning, okay? Well, before we even like, now that we've got people's attention a little bit, let's go in first a little bit about you. Like, how did you get started in all of this? How did this idea even come about? What inspired all of this stuff going on?
So I was into crypto around 2017, but I wasn't very big into it. I had some Bitcoin, some Ethereum. Started getting a little bit of Cardano, but not much. I was just mangling with it. I was really more into stocks. I had great opportunities presented to me. A company called No Talks Technology Corp, backed by Cleveland Clinic. They made this product that will basically replace Botox instead of being toxins, electrical shocks. And it was great. I got into it when the stock was around 50 cents. They started acquiring a lot of companies, shot up to $4.50. I was very happy, but then COVID came. And COVID came and destroyed everything, and everything that had to do with aesthetics that weren't urgently, right? Like, no one really needs Botox to live, and all these aesthetics, we weren't able to open and distribute. So there was a $1 billion company that just got wiped out. Botox itself, which was like worth over $50 billion, they got wiped out. So in a moment of like 2 or 3 months, I lost everything. And it was very hard because it came from like not having much to having a lot in unrealized profit, and then having even less than I started with, because the stock went down to 18 cents. So it gave me a very big emotional hit. And I was already getting into crypto. So I'm thinking there has to be a way to create an asset that doesn't matter what happens, another COVID, a war, or any natural disasters, that it wouldn't go down under a certain point. Doesn't matter if people rug pull, pump and dump, scams, it wouldn't go under a certain point. So the idea is very simple. It came from when the US dollar was backed by gold, right? So instead of using gold, we're using something that we all value in this community, which is crypto, which is Ethereum itself. And we're having Ethereum being backed, Ethereum backing Validity. So each single Validity is backed by Ethereum, but even better, it's consistently generating more Ethereum per token. And that Ethereum is instantly accessible to holders. So the idea of it is very simple. And when we get into the mathematics, I'm happy to hear all your guys' questions and concerns. But that's really like where it came from having that big hit, thinking there has to be a way, using decentralization, using transparency that the blockchain gives us, to create this asset that doesn't matter what happens, it won't go down under a certain point.
So, yeah, and I'm thinking, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this 36,126 plus the, like I have, let's see, I used a bit of it. I had like 12,500 worth of Ethereum that I pulled out when I was doing the reverse staking. So, you know, that's a pretty nice improvement. Let's see, let's just call it 12.5 plus 36,176. So minus the original 30. I thought it was, we'll say it was 30. That's 18 and a half grand that I'm technically up right now since I set this up. When was that? It wasn't even a week ago.
Yeah, so it's very little. But what you have to take a notice is that right now you're looking at your portfolio and it's like 36K, right? The worth of it is 26K. What you've taken out is around 13K, right? Or a little bit more. For you to unlock that 36K, you have to give back that Ethereum so you can sell it in the market. Okay. Right? So what you did when you reverse stake, you're just getting that Ethereum that's backing those coins and you're locking them up.
Okay.
Right? So for you to sell them in the market, you just have to give back the Ethereum and you sell them. But the great thing about Valinity is that, as you can see, you got liquidity without having to sell. That's one of the pain points that we're trying to fix, right? You got that liquidity without having to sell. And right now, meanwhile, the ecosystem is working, you're getting even more liquidity and more Ethereum. So you have an asset class that you have liquidity instantly, and it's generating consistent Ethereum. And whenever you want to sell it, you can sell it, but it's a product that you really don't have to sell. Because why do we sell our crypto? We only sell to get liquidity, right?
Right.
Other than that, we could just stay with it forever if we really could.
So basically, if I ever decide, okay, I want that 36 grand back, then the Ethereum that I pulled out of it, I basically selling back into the system to get that. I'm getting the VI tokens at the current value.
Yes, and then those VI tokens you can sell them in the market.
Okay, and then I would sell them back for Ethereum. Okay, so it's
kind of 36K. Well, you get them for whatever you switch it to, right? You can sell them for USDT, for whatever it is.
But while this is all reverse staked, as I can see now, I have yield available.
Yes.
0.031942 Ethereum. So right now I've got about $95 in yield.
Yes.
So basically, by staking these, as people are entering the system, using the system, they're reverse staking, and then they're buying VI tokens, or, you know, as you had explained to me, once the price of VI gets over what was it, 60 cents, 60 then it's better to go to the mint protocol.
Yes.
So we'll show that a little bit. So as you can see, I've got a yield available of about $95. And then down here, I've got the open reverse staking pool. And then here I have the mint protocol. So I can mint. So on the main website, it shows this chart that basically shows, 1,206 Ethereum total yield.
If you remember, sorry to cut you off. I don't know if you remember the last time we spoke, that was like 1,190 ETH.
Right. So it's growing, and it's growing. That's my point. It's growing as people, because once the price gets to a certain point, it's actually better to mint new tokens, which are then, it's better to mint new VI tokens rather than buy them off of the DEXs, because you get them cheaper ultimately. But then that's what creates the backing for the price of the VI tokens to not come down to a certain point, as long as Ethereum stays up.
Yes, exactly. So like now, if we just stick with that plan of like when gold was back in the dollar, you see that 1,205 Ethereums, that's backing the 12,197,000 coins. So right now we see that each coin is backed by 0.0099 ETH. And every single time that people mint, they're adding more Ethereum than coins. So right now that liquidity, that yield that you're seeing, and the yield that everyone in the ecosystem is seeing, is because holders or new people are coming in and minting, right? They want to have more access to Validity. They're minting, they're adding new Ethereum, and that's where we're getting the yield from. And then those holders are getting the Ethereum, they're getting the Validity in return. They also have Ethereum backed those tokens.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this whole thing is crazy. It's a little complicated to newcomers for sure. I mean, I'm not exactly a newcomer to DeFi, but it like a system like this, there's so many levers to be pulled, right, throughout the whole kind of internal ecosystem of it all. I mean, this is basically, in a nutshell, something that everything is, the VI tokens are backed by Ethereum.
Yes.
And those VI tokens maintain value for as long as Ethereum maintains value. Yes. So I'm assuming that you chose Ethereum for this due to, I mean, well, hell, it's been damn near a stable token for a while, like a lot of other stuff, right? Like, everybody's, all the craziness is going on with Bitcoin because of the ETFs, everything going on with the ETFs and all of that stuff. But we're not seeing a lot of that movement in the altcoins yet, or even Ethereum, maybe a little bit. When Bitcoin pumps up dramatically, then everything else kind of pumps and trickles down. But ultimately, this is basically saying, as long as Ethereum is viable in the market, then so is the VI token, and so will the protocol. So is that inherently, like, quote unquote, like the only risk? Like, what are the risk factors associated with this for newcomers that have never used a system like this for staking or yield farming or any of that? I know at one point yield farming was huge, like everybody was doing it, and now it seems like everybody's just trying to farm up these meme coins. And it's like, to me, it's so stupid to me. Like, I'm not about all of the meme coin FOMO.
For me, it's very sad. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but for me, it's very sad because I feel like we're not taking advantage of what this technology is bringing to the world, right? We say Validity, what DeFi was truly meant to be, because what DeFi really is decentralized finance that all of us benefit equally in a way that we all understand how we're benefiting, right? These meme coins is just a lottery, right? It's just basically another form of gambling. It's good for some people, right? But I think it just doesn't take advantage, or it's not the best use of this technology, right? Here, what Validity is just very simple, is that the coins are backed by ETH, and every single transaction in the ecosystem is burning coins, leaving more Ethereum for the rest of the coins, right? So every time that users buy and sell on the exchange, it has a 2% fee. That 2% is charged in Validity and taken out of circulation. So the Ethereum is generating more for the rest, right? Every time that people claim new Ethereum, it has a 1% burn of V that's taken out of circulation, making more Ethereum for the remaining V. And every time that people mint, it adds more Ethereum. So the protocol is just very simple. It's proposed to make more Ethereum for each token, either through minting or burning, right? You mint, you add more Ethereum, you burn when you buy and sell, or when you stake.
So ultimately, it's trying to it's a system that's trying to drive up the value of Vi token against Ethereum long term.
Basically,
And the longer this continues, the more valuable each Vi token is. But and as that value is being generated, it becomes a yield for what you're staking into the system.
Exactly. So the great thing about this is that it's an asset that you don't have to sell, because like you saw, right? We sent you 30, right? And you're already able to get 15 right away. Mm-hmm. Why would I sell if I already got a huge bunch of liquidity? Right? And then that's going to even keep generating more liquidity for you. So it's like a perfect asset class that's going to give you a big payment, a big amount of Ethereum. It's going to consistently generate more Ethereum, and it's going to outpace the price performance of Ethereum. So in the worst case scenario, well, I need to sell it, XO thing happened, what is generating for me, it's not enough. You just unstake it and you sell it in the market and you get that 30K, right? But it's consistently growing. And the reason we chose Ethereum is a couple. One is that it is the biggest market right now. So we're talking about market cap and users using it. Ethereum is still leading, right? So it's easier for us to market and show Ethereum lovers that this is just a great way for you to generate more Ethereum, a decentralized, transparent way for you to generate more Ethereum. Because another issue, pain point that we're trying to solve is staking, right? When you're going to go stake, you have to lock your Ethereum for a long time. We're talking about months, right? And you have
like 2 years.
Yeah. And you're getting like a 3-4% APY month, like yearly, right? Here, there's no unlocking period. The rewards are instantly, and the lowest month we've had up to date is 10% APY, right? And it's not, I saw a lot of DeFi products before in the last bull run promising 30%, 20%, 40%, all this, but you didn't understand why. Here, you can see every single transaction and why that we had so much. For example, we had majority of our months were 11, 12% until we launched our liquidity pool. And then we had not only the staking and the minting, but now we had the transaction that boosted us up. We're not always going to have that 30%, but we're always going to have around from 10 to 30 APY monthly. And it's instant, right? So here we solve that pain point from staking, that there's no locking period, is instant liquidity, and it's constant.
So, and I can see right now, Vi market price is at 61 cents, up 3.5%. So I forget what makes the 60-cent mark where is that just based on where Ethereum's price is at the time? Like when you were like, well, look, so what happened, folks, is I got into this and I reverse staked it and I did all of this and I told a YouTuber friend of mine about it. And I just sent him a message. I'm like, I just got in on this. I'm working with these guys. You should check it out. This is interesting stuff. I want your take on it. So he goes in and degens in for like 25 grand.
Yes.
And he's doing this as I'm talking to Sergio. And I'm like, dude, look at and he's like looking at the charts and we're just watching these giant green candles. And he's like, whoa, so the price just went over 60 cents. He's like, you need to tell your friend if he does anything else, he should mint the Vi tokens from there, let the price settle or do whatever it's going to do. But ultimately, it's cheaper for him now to mint new tokens, which creates additional backing for the value of those tokens with Ethereum. That increases everything, and it basically kind of helps the ecosystem continue to further itself. So I told him that. But now I'm seeing that the price is at 61 cents, and it's been kind of up and down a little bit. I've been kind of checking it about once a day. Like, where's this at? And you know, I think at one point it was at like 34 or something thousand. And then obviously today it almost seems like now there's a rush in the market, you know, because of the CPI news and all of this stuff, whatever the hell's going on. I feel like it's different every 3 days, but today happens to be a good green day for Bitcoin, which is obviously driving up the values of everything. And it seems like including the Vi token, because that's ultimately based on the value of Ethereum.
Exactly. So Ethereum goes up, it's great for us. And that's another thing, right? A lot of people ask me, what are your take? What do you think like the price point the project can get? Of course, I don't like giving price predictions, but I like giving a way for you to give your own price prediction. So whatever you think that Ethereum is going to do this year, and you just multiply whatever you think we're going to do. Being a low cap with the actual technology that makes sense, that it's been working for the last 5 years, that meanwhile we've been developing this. Let's say we do a very conservative 2x. and Ethereum does another, let's say 2x, it means we did a 4x. Because if Ethereum pops in price, since we're pegged to Ethereum, our coin's backed and generating Ethereum, we pop the same percentage. But if we pop, it just on cherry on top, right? So now,
let's just say hypothetically, now I'm curious. So let's just say hypothetically, Ethereum got to 12 grand.
Yes.
In the first quarter of 2025.
Yes.
What does that mean for this? Exactly.
So that's a multiple of what? 3 right now?
Yeah, because it's about three grand right now, I think.
3 grand. So then that'll be a multiple of 4. Right?
Yeah.
So if Ethereum just out of nowhere does multiple of 4, we instantly do a multiple of 4, our price token, right? Because it's backed by Ethereum. But then you add in whatever we did, right? Whatever growth we did, right? If we do another 4 and Ethereum does another 4, means we did it X of 8, right? Because of our growth is just ours ourselves, right? And then you add the Ethereum on top.
And then all of that value accumulation over the year basically just turns into Ethereum yield available for me over time.
Exactly.
So every time we have a good market, I can come back here and see that I have yield available. Now, as I'm growing, like I saw on the homepage, it was something like 75 Ethereum right now. There's 75 unclaimed, right? So it's people like me that see we have yield available, but we haven't touched it yet, right? Yes. Is there any value in leaving that yield available there?
There is. Since when you claim your yield, so for example, when you claim that 15K, the ecosystem says, okay, you claimed 15K, we're going to burn 1% of your V that we have staked, depending on the 15K you got. So depending more Ethereum you're getting, more burn you're having, right? So less Ethereum you're claiming, less burn you have. And since you have less burn, so let's say you didn't choose to claim that 15, you just hold the Divide tokens. You would have benefited way more when all the ecosystem is growing because you're not burning, right? You're not having less coins, you'll have the same amount of coins. But because you have claimed Ethereum, you're going to have that small burn that also helps the whole ecosystem. So it's either beneficial to either, if you want to claim it, you get instant Ethereum, right? Which is great, a great opportunity.
But it's not cumulative, right? Like my yield available as that grows, that's not in any way helping me generate more.
No. That yield available that's there is just like the
it's almost like a dividend in a sense.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, okay.
So
do we even want to call it a dividend? Because it's probably not a good idea.
No,
it's not a dividend. It's
yield.
It's yield. It's a favor, I guess.
It's favor. It's yield.
Okay.
So
this is crazy to me. What's crazy about it is having done this and watching these numbers change and seeing my yields claimed, my stakes, knowing what I have in, I mean, it's just kind of blowing my mind a little bit. I'm hoping people watching this are taking notice, because this, like, what is the long term? So I mean, this is just kind of kicked off recently, right? And I know, I saw you hanging out with Crypto Keeper down in Colombia, taking he messages me all the time. He's like, yo, I was in Colombia, I'm going to Sergio's clubs, he owns some cool clubs down here. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. I've always wanted to have a nice big nightclub, but I don't have one yet.
Yes. So Keeper is fun. He came to visit. He was already had a plan to come into Colombia. And so he came here, and I took care of him. Here in Colombia, I was born here. When I'm 5 years old, I went to the States, grew up in the States in Canada, came back around like 8 years ago. And Medellin for me is paradise.
I keep hearing that. I just met somebody else. His wife is from Medellin.
It's amazing.
Everybody's trying to convince me to go, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm too big a target. I don't want to end up in the back of a van.
No. That's something that we are tarnished with a bad reputation from back in the day. We're talking about like 20 years ago. That's why my family left. That's why my mother took us to the States, because it was rough in those times. But Colombia is completely different. Now,
is it?
Colombia, we have the best coffee in the world. We export a lot of coffee. We have gold, emeralds. And you come to Medellin, you don't believe you're in a third world country. It's very developed. The streets are beautiful. The people are very warm. The food is great. And there's a lot of great companies here, right? And I'm very excited to be growing Validity here.
Yeah, I will say, man, like even when my wife and I we moved the family to Puerto Rico, it's just like, man, you can't beat the people, man. I mean, there are
Yeah,
people
yeah,
there that didn't like us there, you know what
of
I
course.
mean? But that's just because we're, buying up property and,
Mhm.
just the economics of it. But man, we made so many friends that are still our good friends today, like, and it's just like I tell you what, I've never experienced anything like when you go, you make some friends, and then their entire family shows up to your house
Yes.
with food in hand to cook at your house for everybody, including you. And it was the first time I've ever seen like that kind of sense of community before.
And
And
it's
that
so
was actually pretty warming, man. I've never seen that.
now, if you come to Colombia and you ask Medellin, especially, you ask anyone from directions, some people will even go out of the way to take you there. And as soon
Yeah.
as they get to meet you, they know that you're good-hearted. They open their house for you. They come and cook for you. If you come, you got to try sancocho, which is the best. Bandeja paisa, they're the best. One day, hopefully, we'll do like a live interview here in Colombia, and
Okay.
I'll get to show you around. It's great. Colombia is amazing. The one thing that I do say is that, of course, sometimes we take it a little bit bad when people come here and start talking about like Pablos and like the reputation, because that's a tarnish. Like, we're not proud of that, right? We have so much
Yeah,
more to give than that, right? We have great
for
food,
sure.
great products, beautiful people. Medellin, you come here, it's one of the most beautiful cities you ever seen. You should ask Nick the view that I have. I have the most amazing view of the city. We have Guatapé, which is like basically an ocean of river water. So we have a lot of things to offer. And I think lately what's happening that Medellin is blowing up because people are coming to come here and seeing that. They're like, okay, it's not what it was 20 years ago. It's not that dangerous. People are not doing all these crazy things like it was before. And they're falling in love. I came here and I didn't leave. I came here. I'm like, I'm staying here. There's no way I'm going back. And a lot of my friends actually are living here now.
How bilingual are a lot of the people there? Like I know in Puerto Rico it's kind of 50-50.
No, a lot.
Sometimes I had no idea. I couldn't talk to anybody. My wife speaks Spanish. I don't. So that was a little
Your
rough,
wife Puerto
but
Rican?
huh?
Is your wife Puerto
No, she's
Rican?
Irish. She learned Spanish in like 4
Oh,
months off of some apps before we
wow.
moved and like was able to carry full and,
That's
and
pretty
the
impressive.
Puerto Rican Spanish is a lot different than
It's
like
very
Spanish elsewhere.
all the Spanish are very different, and that's
It
it's pretty
is.
amazing. 4 months, because I've been speaking Spanish my whole life, and it's still sometimes I don't get it right. Yeah,
What's funny is that now she has a Spanish coach that is Colombian. And so now she's learning more Colombian
same
dialect
language too.
Spanish.
Yes,
And it's
you
it's
have to
it's
come. You
very
have to
different. It's
come
a lot
and try
cleaner.
it out. You have to come and try it out. The cool thing about Spanish, like for example, you go to Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, is completely different. Puerto
Yeah.
Rico, completely different.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool that she has a Colombian coach, and you guys should come in and test it
Yeah.
out.
She's a cool woman too. I hear them talking all the time. So
Yeah, so going back to it, there was a question that you asked about Valinity. We went completely off track, but it was great.
well, I think it's a good idea for people to get to know a little bit more about who you are as an
Yes,
individual as well
yes,
than as the protocol. It's like anybody can create a protocol, but who's the man behind it? I always
that's
find
true.
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. There's if you go all the way to the bottom, I wanted to answer a question that you asked, like why is it at 61 cents, right?
Mhm.
The mint price. So if you go here towards the Valinity effect, this kind of explains the long-term play, right? You were asking me what is the long-term play in with the ecosystem. If you look at the bottom gold line, right in the bottom, that represents the amount of Ethereum that's back in each coin, right? So it's, let's say right now it's 30 cents, right? 0.0009 ETH. The price that the newly minted coins are is 2 times that. So if it's at 30 cents, it's going to mint at 60 cents. The reason for that is because it's going to enter double the amount of Ethereum in the protocol than coins into circulation. So it's going to generate more Ethereum for the remaining validity. Did you get that?
Mhm.
So that's why it's double the price. So whatever, if the yield rate or the amount of Ethereum that is back in each coin or generated by each coin is 30 cents, then what it's going to mint at is 60. But because of everything that we spoke about through minting, transaction fees, and staking, the amount of Ethereum that's back in each coin is going to go up. So let's say it goes up 1%, goes to the next little stair. That means that the minting price also goes to the next stair. So if the amount of Ethereum back in each coin goes up to 40 cents, so then the amount of minting new coins go to 80, right? And that just consistently grows. And you see the market just buys and sells between those two price points. And that's what gives us the security, since liquidity here is guaranteed by two smart contracts, right? So there's unlimited liquidity to mint, unlimited liquidity to access Ethereum, and just the ecosystem just bounce between those two price points. So at the end of the day, it's a protocol that's going to, in price point, outperform Ethereum in the long run, always, because always just going up. Was I able to explain that properly to you?
I mean, I think you explained the system overall. Yeah. I know some people are saying, hey, can you show the whole, like, walk through the whole process? And then also I want to point out these. I really like, for the tech heads out there, you really should check out these audits, because these audits are really kind of what helped me. Like, I don't really see DeFi applications spend the kind of money that I'm sure these cost for audit on their smart contracts and things. And that told me that this is something that you really are expecting to last a long time, that this isn't some like flash in the pan fad DeFi platform for a quick turnaround. This is something that, the audits to me mean a lot, especially more now than ever. Yeah. And so, and I would encourage, and you can go in and read the full audits. So, and you can get all of the details of these audits. So
one of my favorite audit is one, if you go there where it says Validity contract, you see where the 91% in category, if you go down, down. You see it go a little bit more down, it says Validity contract audit. Right next to it, it says Validity formal verification. Do you see it? There. Yeah. That audit is my favorite audit, because that audit shows you the tokenomics, and they guarantee you that the amount of Ethereum that's back in each token will never go down. It will only stay the same or grow. So meanwhile, people either mint, it will grow. People do transactions, it will go. People stake, it will grow. But it will only stay stagnant or go up. So for me, that's great, because that means that I reached what my goal was, is to create a product that's backed by a solid thing, that it wouldn't go down if anything else happened. Unless that product itself, that asset itself goes down, which is Ethereum.
This is the one thing that I've been thinking to myself, and kind of the sense of of me getting into this and doing this whole kind of long-term, like, this is how things are going kind of campaign with you, is because realistically, you spend whether it's you and partners, whoever, spend a decent amount of money to build this out, to get these audits done, to basically say, this is secure, this isn't a rug, this isn't a joke, this is a long-term commitment, we're really trying to do this. But then you had to go in and basically get your own VI tokens, stake those VI tokens, basically provide the initial backing of Ethereum for those tokens. So there's two sides to this coin. Number one, you built a platform that would enable you to get in early, promote the platform, and do well from everyone else that's getting involved in using the ecosystem, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But the reality of it is that you basically spent all this money to build a system that now everyone is able to use and benefit from the same way you are. You just happen to be in before everyone.
And the great thing about that is that when you spoke about that, there's no token allocations. You cannot create Validity out of thin air, right? You have to mint it. There's no unlocking periods. So the Validity that I hold myself, that I've shown it many times. If you want, I can show my personal wallet. I had to mint that Validity myself.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I minted it myself, right? So I'm in the same boat as everyone. And the great thing about it is, because, of course, I minted it at its inception, so I got a great price. I'm still buying and minting every day when I want to get. That's like my little savings that I do. Because not only that, when people mint now and people do transactions, I get Ethereum without even have to sell.
Right.
I wouldn't I would only sell, for example, I say we need to list on a big exchange. We need a lot of liquidity. So I need to put a whole bunch of Ethereum, Validity and stuff, maybe like that, or other partnerships, and to keep it growing. But the Validity that I have already generates enough revenue that I don't have to sell. And that's what I encourage users to do the same, right? You grab the Validity, you reverse stake, you get a big chunk of it out, and it's going to keep generating for you until you basically got out more than you put in.
But when you do reverse stake, you don't want to get rid of the Ethereum that you pull back out because you need that to buy those tokens back and sell. And
depends on how you want to play it, right? There's a couple ways you can do it. So for
you can either stake it, use the Ethereum that you pulled out, and then wait for your yield to hopefully catch up to what you've sold.
Exactly.
And then pull the rest out if you want.
And there's 3 ways. I give people 3 options. Of course, this is a great product and everyone can have their own.
And real quick, I wanted to point out, you have $100,000 bounty program reserved, right?
150. So that's 100, like a reserve for like one big, if they find one big bug, and then we have 50 for the small ones.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because now I want to try and hack your shit.
Good luck.
$100,000.
The only way you can hack it, you have to hack Ethereum. So that's why. That's one of the
good point.
We chose Ethereum because all the 3 smart contracts that have a whole tokenomics are all just 3 smart contracts on Ethereum that have been audited and they're closed and they're very simple.
Yeah.
One mints, the other one holds Ethereum, and the other one holds Validity. Right. So it's just they're very simple. It's basically impossible to hack. You would have to hack Ethereum. Right?
Gotcha. All right, now you go back to what you're saying. I just thought that was a cool side note that you're offering a bounty too. That's pretty good.
Yes. What was I speaking about? We were talking about so the 3 ways you could use Validity. So one, let's say you want to be very conservative, right? So you buy and you just hold the V. You already know the Ethereum that's backing each V. And instead of claiming it, you just hold the V. That way you don't have that burn. It's going to generate even more Ethereum for you, right? And you can take that out, right? Another way is that you buy V, right? Let's say you have a small capital, but you want more exposure. You can, let's say, buy $5,000 of V. You reverse stake it. At this point, you'll get like 2.5 ETH. That 2.5 ETH, you'll go and buy more V. You reverse stake it, get more ETH. That ETH, you go and buy more V. So with the same capital, you're just getting exposure much more. So when everything goes up, you benefit. But you are taking more risk since you don't have access to that Ethereum anymore because you just rebought. Right?
So basically, you don't have the capital to pull out of the protocol if you wanted to, until your yield is basically grown enough to allow you to do that.
Or everything just shot up and then you just give back what you claimed, then you just sell it, right? So for example, let's say I like using gold, right? It's just very simple. Let's say you have some capital, you buy gold, then you get a loan on that gold. With that loan, you go and buy more gold, get a loan on that gold, right? So you just get a big loan, and you loan yourself out. And when gold shoots up, you just pay off the loans and sell the gold, right? So you just get a big exposure with a small capital, right? But it's much more risk since you already are loaned out the maximum in gold. Right. Same thing here, right? So you get a big exposure, but you don't have access to the ETH. And
so if I buy, so let's say I bought 2 Ethereum worth of VI tokens on the DeFi platform, or because of where the price is at, I just came down here. I've got my wallet connected. I've got 2 Ethereum and I want to mint 2 Ethereum worth of tokens.
Yes.
Then I reverse stake that 2 Ethereum worth of tokens. How much of that Ethereum is coming back to me? Is it
right
to my
now,
wallet?
Right now, you'll get 50. So you get the minimum you'll get with 50. So let's say if you mint, right, you're minting at double the price with 60 and you're getting 30. So you put in 2 ETH and then when you reverse stake, you get 1 ETH, but you still hold all the V. If the market,
so I'm holding all the V, but then I'm getting 50% of the original Ethereum back into my wallet.
And then with that, you can go and buy more and do the same process, and you just get a whole bunch of V. And then when
my point is,
V benefits in all these transactions, you're benefiting more. You have more exposure to the protocol, basically.
Right. No, I get that. I'm just making a point for anyone that's watching. So I start with 2 Ethereum. I have the value locked into the protocol, and where it's like I'm getting the full value of those tokens at the time, but I'm getting 50% of my original purchase price of those tokens back into my wallet. So effectively, I'm getting double the value in the staking protocol to generate a passive yield, while I'm retaining half of that value
Correct.
that I can do whatever I want with until I wanted to buy it back out of the protocol.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's minimum 50%, because if the market goes down and it's closer to the yield rate or the amount of Ethereum is back in each coin, let's say it goes down, it's at 40 cents, you're buying at 40 cents and you're reverse staking at 30, you're getting like 80% back.
Yeah.
Right. So it depends on those two price points. Remember, the market jumps between those two price points. If it's at the top, it's 50. But if it's at the bottom, you can get into 100. Let's say right now, Validity crashes and everyone starts selling right now. It gets to 30 cents. It's a great opportunity because you're buying at 30 and you're reverse taking at 30. You're just getting free V.
Got you. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Valinity project is very exciting. Yeah, I'm getting weird comments. Like I don't agree with a lot of them, especially talking to you personally. But here's the thing about protocols like this: it's like
until they're getting, just to see if we can clear out some doubts.
Well, no, they're more like your hair gel. It's stupid shit is what I'm saying. It's like, no, just because he's got hair gel doesn't mean anything. But yeah, like, and it's like we're live right now on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and typically interviews don't generate huge crowds. This is like a late night. I feel like people watch these things more late night. But I ultimately, I think this is one of those things that, like anything else, it's going to be, some people are going to get involved. They're going to test the waters. They're going to touch their toe in it, and they're going to see how that goes. And then this is going to grow over time. This isn't anything that I think people are going to just ape into because,
this is not a DJ play. This is something that you understand it. You're like, this makes sense. And they start getting into it, and those are the people that are going to have the first exposure because they actually kind of get it, and they're going to have the most benefits, and it's going to grow over time, and then hopefully it snowballs.
Yeah, I mean, I know my friend, like, I know Keeper really likes this and really liked you, and I'm curious to see how this continues to grow over the year, because as long as everything is on the up and up and the protocol is as it's basically programmed and structured to function, I can't really see any problems with it.
No, it's great. A lot of people, when we get into it, they're like, it's too good to be true. Like, where is there has to be some endpoints, and there is some risk, right? And you asked me about it. We didn't talk about it. There are three main risks. One is that if Ethereum dumps, right? If Ethereum dumps, we're packed by Ethereum, so we're going to dump. The great thing is that we're consistently generating more Ethereum, so we're not, it softens the blow. We're not going to dump as hard as Ethereum, but we will dump, right? That's the first risk. The second risk, if someone hacks Ethereum, which is very unlikely, right? I wouldn't say impossible, but it's very unlikely. And then third is that if we stay stagnant, right? If no one comes in to reverse stake, no one comes in to buy and sell, and there's trading, no one comes into mint, there's no yield available or being generated for the ecosystem, right? So we'll just stay stagnant. But
I'm going to say one thing that because I've already had people make this comment to me on like Twitter and places, and I jokingly said this to you, but I went and I looked at what exactly it. So I've had people, it's another Ponzi, right? And when you're talking about DeFi, that term comes up a lot. We've been labeling a lot of things a Ponzi, and here's the thing: this is not a Ponzi, because a Ponzi is very much a different mechanic altogether. A Ponzi is when you invest $5 into my fake company, and then my neighbor also invests $5 into my fake company. I take a percentage of this new investment, and then I pay you. You're happy. I get you pumping more money into it. I'm taking a chunk of that to pay back. And you're basically just moving money around where there's always a loser. There are always losers. That is ultimately what makes a Ponzi so flimsy, because once the money gets to a point where you can't manage it anymore, you can't control it anymore, and you've got so many people that you owe because you've used their money to pay back the people that came before them, it always crumbles, it always falls, right? This is not a Ponzi. A lot of if this is no more Ponzi than really like the US dollar or basically any financial instrument that's used in a grand scale to basically do anything, whether it's acquire services or value over time. Because this isn't like I get into this today and if I invested for Ethereum and then, a chunk of my Ethereum is going to pay the next guy that enters the tomorrow, and it's just like the money is trickling down and disappearing at the same time. It's not really like that.
Not like that. I would like
it's all based off of the overall valuation of the peg of Ethereum, and that valuation dictates the value of the VI token, and then that money is kind of like floated around in terms of a yield for everybody that's using it. Exactly. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I would add a couple things to it. So, for example, they say Ponzi, right? If the Ponzi is exactly what you explained, right? So I get money from the new guy to pay the old guy. I take some commission, and through that commission, and because I have to pay the old guy with interest, right? That money just starts disappearing to the point that the money that's coming in is not enough to pay the other guys, right?
Right.
That's what a Ponzi scheme is.
Exactly.
Right. This is not a Ponzi. First of all, how you know it's not a Ponzi? 100% of the money that you put in, either minting or buying from the exchanges, when you mint it, 100% of that Ethereum goes to the smart contract that's backing all the other coins, right? So it's not going to go pay anyone. That Ethereum goes, you see that 1,200 Ethereum, that goes there to pack all the coins.
Right.
And every single transaction, everyone's benefiting from it. So instead of traditional tokens sales, when they mint and they sell, who takes that profit from the sell? The creator or the person that's actually running this project. Here, 100% of that goes to the smart contract to pack the coins. So we're not taking profit there at all. Second thing is that also every single transaction from buying and selling, instead of that 2% going to us, that 2% is going to generate more Ethereum for everyone. And when people stake and claim that big Ethereum, that is also generating more Ethereum for everyone. So basically the protocol where everyone benefits directly. I don't want to talk about old financial systems because, of course, I don't want to get in trouble. But if you go to other, let's say, financial institutions where they charge you that 1% fee for transactions, or they charge you that 1% interest or all that, who's making that? Those financial institutions are making that, right? And they're making that from the money that users are putting in. Here is that what DeFi was truly meant to be. Somewhere where we all benefit directly the same. From minting, from transaction fees, from staking, we're all benefiting from that. That's what's generating the yield for everyone. Right. So I think a lot of people are pessimistic, and they have a bad taste in their mouth of everything that's happened, and that's fine. I understand that. I know that like a lot of that is coming. But when you really look at what Validity is, we're trying to fix those issues. That's what literally are the issues that we're trying to fix. And I think we got a very simple and innovative and cool way to do it.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. And it's like I was saying, that this is one of those things that I think it's going to take some work from people.
Yes.
I would suggest people that are interested to, well, number one, somebody was asking. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. This is Uniswap. So you can actually pick up VI tokens on Uniswap. I'm showing the spread for one Ethereum right now.
But right now you should mint, right? I shouldn't.
Yeah,
people shouldn't buy here.
I just want people to know that they can get tokens on Uniswap. Yes. But yeah, the idea at this point is to, with the price above 60 cents right now, right? That's basically the metric. If it's over 60 cents, you want to mint new tokens because you're going to basically get more bang for your buck.
Exactly. But remember, it's on Ethereum. So right now it's 0.00205 Ethereum, right? If the price in the market is over what you can mint, so minting is 0.00197 Ethereum. See where you mint down there where it says 60 cents, it's 0.00197 Ethereum. If the market is underneath it, it makes more sense to buy it in the market, right? But if the market is at the same one or a little bit higher, it makes more sense to mint because you're just going to get more validity for your buck, and you're adding more Ethereum into our protocol,
Right.
which is benefiting everyone.
So, and basically what, somebody was asking. So basically I would mint the tokens here. I would just mint with my Ethereum. I'd create Vi tokens.
Yes.
And then at that point I would come over to reverse stake.
Yeah.
And then I would just open the reversal staking pool. I'd create the reverse stake with the Vi tokens I have available. Then once I've approved that, which it's literally like 2 clicks. I mean, it really wasn't any big deal at all.
And the great thing about that is directly from the smart contract, and you're getting pure ETH. This is not wrapped ETH. This is not like, and this is.
Oh yeah, no, it was just regular Ethereum that came back to my wallet.
Yes, Ethereum that you're getting back to your wallet, and that ETH that you have available right now, which is pretty good for like how long this been. I think we talked like a week ago.
Yeah,
it's pretty good Ethereum that you've been generating. So what we try to do, because it is a new thing, and like you said, it's going to take a while for people to do this, and that's great. That means it's innovative, right? It means it's new. If we go to the mint section, what we try to do is we try to explain as much as we're doing. So it's showing you where your ETH is going. So your ETH is going to the yield rate treasury where all the Ethereum has gone. All the Ethereum from minting is going there, right? And then the revenue cycle treasury with the smart contract that mints is minting the new Validity for you. So that's where you're getting it. And when you reverse stake, you click on the reverse staking section, please. It explains you exactly what you're doing. Is that you're locking now your Validity into the reverse staking treasury and is giving you the Ethereum that's backing each of those tokens.
Yeah, and then everyone can see I've done this twice. So, and here's the thing, for everyone out there, like people that are like, oh, well, it looks cool, but like you said, oh, it looks too good to be true. We're going to find out because I'm not pulling this out. And I'm going to update everybody on it on a regular basis throughout the market cycle. And we're going to see, like what happens, how does this end up? Because I know that you building this all out, this is something that you want to see that stands the test of time and continues to move forward and continues to grow and things over the, like regardless of when we hit the peak of the next market and we get into the bear market, you wanted to be around for the 2030 market and so on.
No, this is going to be there. We plan forever, right? We took 5 years to build this. So this is not something that we just built like last month and we just put a website together. We took 5 years in building this since 2019 from what happened with the whole stock thing. And then I'm like, okay, we had to start working on a way, just simple math. It took us like a year, 2 years to get the tokenomics great. Then we got Iterate, which was recommended by a big developing firm, which they've done great products. They've worked with Riot, they've done HBAR, they've done a lot of things. We wanted to get the best of the best. It took another 2 years to actually develop the product. And then it took a whole year to do the audits. We wanted to make sure that it's safe. So we went with the most expensive audits. We went with the most expensive developing, and we have the greatest tokenomics that is unique. And it's very simple. It doesn't make sense. Just like, I don't like comparing it to Bitcoin because everyone's going to talk shit about it, talk shit about me. But just the reality of Bitcoin is that it's what gives it value are just 3 things that are very simple: decentralized, transparent, and limit supply, right? It just boils down to that. Validity is the same thing. It's a token that's backed by Validity, by Ethereum. You can access that Ethereum, and it's consistently generating more Ethereum, right? It just boils down to that through minting and transaction fees, right? So the math makes sense. The development was the greatest. The audits are the greatest. So we didn't want to just do a quick thing. This took millions of dollars and 5 years of a lot of work to get where we are. And the great thing about this is that in the future, when we're growing and everything's going good, now we're not only going to generate Ethereum, now we're also going to generate Bitcoin. And we're going to
hopefully at some point Cardano.
And some point Cardano, like we spoke about privately. We're going, and the great thing about this is that we do everything's through governance, right? So we can't make any changes without the community voting. So when this is growing or pushing and the ecosystem is growing, we're going to add a vote if the community wants Bitcoin. And if the community says yes, now you're going to be able, with the same Validity token, either stake it and claim Ethereum, or stake and claim Bitcoin and generate more Bitcoin or generate more Ethereum, and arbitrage between them two. And then you can add another token. We're also thinking about proposing to the community adding a gold-backed token, just that in the future, when the bear market comes, it softens our blow, right? Because it's backed by that gold as well. Then Cardano and all this. So the great thing about this is that when all this it has great things upcoming, so there's always like great news coming to adding another asset class. But at the end of the day of it, you can have one token that is basically backed by all these different pools of other tokens, and the price of it reflects it. So I like sometimes comparing it like to the SP 500. You hold that SP 500 and just it benefits from the top 500 stocks, but here you're just benefiting from the most solid, biggest crypto projects.
I've got one more big question. We've been here about an hour, and I want to have you back after some time has passed, and we're going to go back over some of these things. But one question I'm curious about is, at what point, so let's say I've got this yield available, right? Mm-hmm. At what point does it make sense to take the yield? Mm-hmm. And because we're talking about accumulation, right? And like a cumulative growth, you know, like with like if I bought dividend stocks, right? Mm-hmm. You can either make the choice where you live off those dividends, or you just reinvest them back into the stock to generate even more dividends. And that's how people grow like retirement portfolios and things. Mm-hmm. At what point is it mine, you know, taking account the fees and the burns and all of that stuff, at what kind of yield would you want to see before maybe you reinvested the Ethereum? Like, let's say this is going and it's like, this is doing really well for me and I want to keep seeing how far this can go. At what point do you say, all right, I have enough of a yield, rather than maybe I could either cash it out, you know, maybe, you know, this, okay, you know what, pause. This is personally what I probably am going to do myself. Mm-hmm. So I have, you know, I have the amount, I had like the 30 grand worth of VI tokens, right? And so at that point, I've got the majority of that staked on the platform. Mm-hmm. So basically I got the, I think it was like 4.5 Ethereum back after I reverse staked it all. So maybe once this gets back to 4.5, where I've created 4.5 Ethereum worth of yield, maybe I set that back. And then from there, I just reinvest everything and see how far it goes, you know, so that I don't have any, I'm not at risk for anything at that point. It's all gains. And because that's typically what I would do in like other cryptos or anything where, all right, well, I invested $1,000 in this. Once I have that, once the value has reached a certain point where I can pay myself back the initial investment, I can let the rest ride. And dude, I still have crypto I bought in 2017. Like I don't really know of anything that I bought that I hadn't sold yet, because I'm like, I don't really give a shit. I'm experimenting. I'm learning. I'm doing all this stuff. I have wallets with some really old shit on there, like Propy token and do you have some of that?
No, not some of that old, but I do have like some wallets that I just try. They tell me about like these coins, these memes, these things when I'm just learning about it. Right. I don't want to call it like Kishu Inu or something like that.
I don't even know what they are anymore.
Where's that wallet? Like probably has.
Yeah, I will say I just found like 1 million Pepe, or no, not Pepe. It was 1 million SNEC tokens. I guess somebody sent me 1 million SNEC tokens. I guess hoping I would talk about it. I guess I will. I just did.
Just airdrops. Yes.
Maybe it was an airdrop. I had no idea. They just popped up on my wallet. I'm like, okay. So anyway, yeah, that was basically what I was getting at. I was kind of thinking out loud, like at what point would I want to reinvest the yield to basically increase my further yield, and how far could I take this?
That's a great question. And that really depends on everyone's different, risk. Right? Everyone's risk tolerance is completely different, right? Mm-hmm. So for example, let's have a very low risk tolerance, and I want to take the less risk as possible. I would buy the V and just hold the V. And I know that Ethereum is there. It will say yield available, right? And it will say the Ethereum there. The reason I will hold the V is because it means I'm not burning. And meanwhile, everyone else that has stake is burning. And meanwhile, the transactions are burning. And meanwhile, new minting is going to add more Ethereum, more Ethereum. I'm going to see the yield develop. It can be more and more and more and more and more and more until it is 100% of what I put in. And then I take that out and put the V in. I'm 100% out of it already. And I have 100% of the V. Right. But that's going to take a long time depending where you bought it. If you bought it like where it was very close to the yield rate, so if you bought it like at 40 cents and reverse staked at 30, to get to 100% is very little, right? If you're getting it at 60 cents and your reverse stake is at 50, it's going to take a little bit more long. But right now, it's not going to take that long since we just started. Like right now, we only have 400 holders, right? When this starts growing and people come in, it's going to be great, and a lot of people are like, why don't you only have 400 holders? It's such a great product. We literally have our liquidity pool was last month, and we could put
basically a month old, and it's already kind of where it's at.
And we could put a whole bunch of bots in there, but the whole point of this whole thing is to be transparent and equal, and everyone sees it. And there's no point, right? I just wanted it to be genuine, right? Because if it starts good, it will end good. So that's
the best approach.
If I have the lowest risk tolerance, I would do that, right? If I'm a little bit more moderate risk tolerance, what I would do, and if I want to accumulate more Ethereum, I would buy V, reverse stake it, and get that Ethereum and turn it into fiat. The reason for that is that if Ethereum drops and Validity drops, then I can turn it back to ETH and buy more. So I'm just accumulating more Ethereum when that dips happen, right? Because you holding V, it's backed by Ethereum, it's going to act like Ethereum. So you get in that Ethereum and convert it to fiat. If it goes down, you're able just to buy back at a better point. And if it goes up, it just profits great.
Right.
And the third one is the biggest risk tolerance, but it has also the biggest gains. Is that you buy V, you reverse stake it. Without reverse stake Ethereum, you buy more, you reverse stake it, you buy more, you reverse stake, you buy more, and you just getting more and more and more and more and more and more and more V. That when it goes up, you're profiting off all that, and it's generating more Ethereum because you have more access to that. And there's also, I'm betting when people get to look at this and they see it, they're gonna have other creative ways to do it. But those are my three. I personally, what I do is that I've gotten all my V, and when I have yield available, I reverse stake it. Some of it I put in to keep growing the product, but some of it as I go and buy more V, just because I would like to have more V as possible, because more V that I have, more Ethereum I'm going to generate, and there's no reason to sell it, right?
Okay, well, we planted the seed, and we're going to see how this thing grows, and I'm going to continue updating everyone on my progress. And yeah, man, I mean, I figure we'll figure out the best time to have you back on and just kind of update everybody with how things have grown. We're going to go by the numbers and say, hey, this is where it's at. I'm going to continue talking to people about it in my circles and see, like, hey, what do you guys think? And I'm curious how many people are already getting into this, because I know there are more than our public. And so I'm very curious to see how this moves, man, over the market cycle. I know that everyone's first reaction to it, and mine was too. I mean, I told you flat out, I'm not sure about this. Like, this is like a degen play to me. Like, you know what I mean? And you're like, this is not degen. Huh?
They still feel the degen?
Here's the thing. I bought into Celsius Network because I thought Alex Mashinsky was like the best dude on the planet because of the way he went to war with telecom companies. And I thought he could do no wrong.
Yes.
And I don't know if you're familiar with that platform, but we all know how that ended up. Yes. So I'm always a little skeptical. I've always got one eye open, Sergio, but I like this and I like you.
But what I would recommend, what I say, right? You can thank you. I like you too. But what the point is that I tell everyone, this is what crypto and blockchain was meant for. You don't have to like me or trust me.
I agree. Right? The problem is that so many people have come into the space and taken advantage of the new technologies and the new ways to sell old ideas. Exactly. And now it's up to people to like try and prove, no, this is how shit's supposed to have been done back then. It just wasn't.
Yes. That's my point.
Let me tell you, I get it. I'm on your side. I wouldn't be with you if I really was like, oh, this is cringy. I don't see it that way. I see the tech. My reservations really stem from the perceptions of the public that will look at this initially and think, oh, it's another one of these. Oh, it's something like that. Oh, it's the old school. And I don't really think that's the case, which is one of the reasons why I've been pointing out, just the money I know you've had to have spent on these CerTic audits and to basically prove the tech and the smart contracts and everything. This isn't something that,
that's where I'm going, because I feel like, unfortunately, those people took advantage of those people that didn't want to take the time to go look at to how actually use the blockchain. Right. Because I can come up here, right, and give you this great thing and whole makes sense and wow, this is great and people are going to come FOMO in. But before you invest into anything, you need to understand it, right? You understand Cardano. I'm pretty sure when Cardano dips, it's not going to hit you so hard like that person that invested in Cardano and doesn't know what the technology is, doesn't know what it's about, and then it dip and they're freaking out. Right. When you actually get to understand what this is, you don't have to like me, trust me, whatever it is. That's the point of the blockchain.
Exactly.
Like, look at those 3 smart contracts, see that they're closed, and see what they do. Right. Then I can't change that. Right. Celsius, FTX, all these other things, you guys are not using the blockchain. You guys are basically sending them your funds, and they're managing it for you. I'm not managing here anything. Right. I just created this idea, this system, put it on the blockchain, and let's see if it works. I'm using it. I'm having a great time. Crow is using it, and it decentralized its own thing. That's what the blockchain and decentralized was meant for, and transparency.
Totally agree.
And I feel it sucks that that all these other things happen and it slowed the growth of what revolution of crypto is, because that's what they did. They're slowing the growth because a lot of people now that have been scammed, been robbed, or just fell in projects, you're going to come a great thing to them and they're going to miss out because they have a bad taste in their mouth. And
the one thing that I think is true is the same way guys like Alex Mashinsky showed ultimately the value he brought to the crypto space. Yes. It's just another opportunity for guys like you to prove otherwise, to say, you know what, you might have a bad taste in your mouth, but you know what, I'm ice cream and that was shit on a stick. Just give it time and let it marinate a little bit and you'll understand. Right. And so, the story is always told by the end. And this is just the beginning. So I think it's ultimately going to be based off of what you do and what the public does and how things resonate over time in the market. And more people are going to gravitate to stuff because, a lot of the stuff that we see like this, that's going to go under or belly up or like crash or whatever is going to happen, it doesn't take that long. You've already got like 1,100 Ethereum locked into this thing with these VI tokens. So, most people have already pieced out by now, not just really kind of like, let's keep going. Let's ramp it up. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel good about it. I think it's just the only things I see is I see a lot of the comments all over the internet about what people perceive this to be. When I pulled up the white paper, I'm like, go read the white paper. It's not long. It's 20 pages. Go read it. Check it out. And just, read it in black and white and see what you think about it. Maybe dabble in it. Maybe, try dip your toe, see if you like it, understand the way the smart contracts function, what you get back, the fees that are taken, get comfortable with it before you just dive in deep with everything. Don't be crazy about this kind of stuff. And this is the thing I always tell everybody about anything in crypto, whether it's people that are new to the space and, they've got their neighbor trying to get them to buy the next frog token, or you got guys like me on the internet talking about, look at this amazing layer one I just bought a whole bunch of. Don't just degen into anything because somebody else says it's cool. You gotta do your research, spend the time, get to know it, get comfortable with it. And by all means, understand what you're actually buying and getting into so that you are more educated as to what the outcomes may be, what potential there is. And like you said, I don't freak out if Cardano dips because I'm so well educated in it. I'm not worried about it.
Exactly. You understand the thing. And there's something else that to just wrap this up. You're able to go to the bottom of our website and you're able to book a call directly with me. So if you do have those questions, you're able to go, you mint some tokens, which is 2,500, and you're able to book one of those time slots. And this idea was really great that I thought about it, because when COVID did happen and all my stocks went down, I wanted to sit down with the CEOs and be like, hey, I want to know what's going on. Or just ask questions or whatever. And I had a lot of stocks, had no access to them. Here, you're able to book a call directly with me. You get those Vibe tokens. You're able to profit from the ecosystem, but you're also have those questions, right? Like, you think it's too good to be true. You have these questions, where this happening. I'll walk through it with you, of course, and take your time and watch these videos, right?
Yeah.
But I understand everyone's taste in their mouth with everything that's going on. And I know that through time that people are going to have a different perspective when they see the results.
Yeah, man. I think this is ultimately going to grow and do well. Personally, I do. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's been great to have you on. We're going to keep chatting. You know, we're in the Telegram groups. We'll just keep swapping ideas and thoughts, and how things are progressing and moving. And I'll keep you abreast of what I'm doing.
Any thoughts or any thing that you want to give it up for? Just come and message us, like whatever. Your ideas will be great. Your insight with your experience into this market, whatever you think, I'm open to hear as well with the public. I'm open to hear and just keep growing together the way that
man.
To be.
And what I'll do too is as people are watching this video over time, I'm going to keep note of a lot of the questions and things. And the next time I come on, we'll have a better list of stuff that people are asking and really curious about. I think that's going to play a big role in people actually using the system a little bit, getting some, like understanding as to how things work, and that will spawn more questions the same way it did for me when I was getting into it. I'm like, oh, well, what about this? And oh, what about that? And then you're like, oh yeah. And you kind of took me to school a bit, and it really helped out a lot. So
the best way of learning is actually doing it, right? So
exactly.
If you want to dabble with it, of course, like don't put your whole life savings into it.
Yeah, no, don't do that with anything. Not even Cardano.
Nothing. So, but just put it like, whatever you can, just to see how the ecosystem goes. And I really recommend people to do it. We have our list of smart contracts there. Do a transaction and then go to the blockchain and see where it went and where it got and where you're getting it from. So you can see it. You can see the actual ecosystem and how it's working internally. So you can get a better feel for it, right? And then you can get more confidence and you understand, okay, what are the pros? What are the cons? What are the biggest risks? What are the lower risks? And then from there, you start talking about your own perspective about the project.
Right. Sounds good, man. Sergio Solano, Valinity.io. Thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
It's a good chat. Maybe someday you'll be able to convince me to come to Colombia. I don't know. We'll see.
You should. And I didn't know you fight. I do boxing myself. I heard you're pretty big. Nick told me that you're huge, so I don't know if I want to step.
Well, I'm 7'275".
Yeah,
I'm kind of big.
Yeah, you're pretty big, and
but I'm old, so it averages out.
Yeah, as they come in, we'll go train together, we'll go boxing, and I'll show you what everyone's being. So
I don't want to mess with none of you Latin fighters, man. I don't have the conditioning you guys do. I might be dangerous for a minute, but then I got to take a nap, and you guys are still running circles around me. That's not cool, man.
We have great fighters here in the boxing gym that I go to. I box like 3 times a week, and they're pretty good. They're pretty. Yeah. They have that Latin pride that they don't want to give up.
Right.
They don't want to give up. It doesn't matter.
All right, brother. Well, I'll be in touch. And for those of you out there in crypto land watching this, go read the white paper, go play around, experiment with a little bit, and just post your comments and your questions down below. And, we'll cover them in the near future. So until next time, guys and gals, crow your coins. Thanks for joining us. And I'll see you again soon.
That was great.